Hey everyone, Mr. Flows here again. Today I have a yoga flow for us to try. So this is a yoga flow that I like to do just about every morning. I think it's a great way to get energy into your body, get nice and loose and get ready for an active and busy day. So before we start, there's a couple things I want to talk about. If you're doing this, you're going to want to have a yoga mat if you have one like I have here. If not, you can do this just about anywhere. Soft surface, so like a carpet would work great. If you want to do it outside in the grass, that would be awesome. Just really anywhere where you have lots of space and something soft to do this on. You also, if you're like me and haven't been able to get a haircut, you might need something like a bandana to keep the hair out of your face. And then I also want to talk about how this yoga video should be, really personalized to you. If you want to stay in a pose longer, you can pause the video and then come back, catch up, see what pose I'm in, get back in there. But it should really be what you feel comfortable with, what stretches you want to do. So kind of customize it, make it your own, right? Also, you'll see I'm not very flexible. So if there's a pose where you think you can do something added to make it a harder stretch for you, get deeper into the stretch, definitely go for it. If you're not quite as flexible, I'll talk about how we can make this simpler, but don't force yourself, right? You want to get to that spot where you feel the stretch and it's a little uncomfortable, but definitely it doesn't hurt or you're not risking injury, right? So definitely be safe with this and do what your body feels comfortable, right? When we're doing yoga, we always want to be breathing, so we want to breathe in and out. When we breathe out, we'll try to get deeper into the pose, into the stretch, right? So we'll see this a little bit as we get going. During this, there's 3 things we're going to focus on. Obviously, one is flexibility, and flexibility is our body's range of motion, which is how far we can reach, stretch, bend, stuff like that. Flexibility is something we can work on. We can work on improving, and yoga is definitely a great way to work on improving our flexibility. We want to try and get to that point where we feel a little bit of the stretch, so we know our body's working, our muscles are lengthening, and then we try to stay in that pose for 20 seconds. And if we do that, that's how we really increase our flexibility. So we'll definitely try and do some of that today. We'll try and hold the poses for a long time. I'll talk you through that a little bit. And the second thing we're going to work on is some balance. So as most of you know, balance is our ability to keep our body upright and to maintain body control. So we'll definitely have some body challenges, some balance challenges in our video today, and we'll see how well everyone's able to balance. And the last thing we're going to do is some muscular endurance. So I love to add some core workout into my yoga. You'll definitely see just a few of those, see how long we can hold our position, how long our core muscles can work, which is really what muscular endurance is, how long our muscles are able to work for an extended period of time. It's be like a short, maybe 5 to 10 minute flow. Let's get into it. Our first pose is going to be child's pose. I'm sure most of you know this. We're going to extend our knees to the edges of our mats. We're going to stretch our hands out forward. And as we breathe out, we're going to push our hips back. Put your head down, rest your forehead on the front of your mat. We should be breathing here. When we breathe out, we're going to get deeper into that stretch. We should feel it in our hips and our back. Let's try to stay here for 3 more breaths. All right, when you're ready, you can come up and we'll get into tabletop pose. So our hands should come right underneath our shoulders and our knees should come right underneath our hips. From here, we're gonna go into some cat and cow stretches. So for cat, we're gonna breathe in and our back is gonna come up and our chin is gonna come down to our chest. And then for cow, we breathe out and we come back into that flat tabletop pose. So cat, and then out. Let's stay in here for 5 breaths. All right, from here, we're gonna go into our first muscular endurance challenge. We're gonna see how long our cores can work here. So this is called hovering cow. So we're gonna stay in this pose and we'll just pull our knees slightly off the ground, make sure our shoulders stay above our hands, and we'll try and hold this pose. We should really engage our core, we should feel that working. So we'll try and stay in this for maybe 30 seconds. Make sure our back stays flat during this, and it'd be best to look forward. All right, we're doing good. 5 more seconds. All right, good work. All right, from here, we're gonna get into our first downward dog. I know I saw a lot of us do this in school, so I know we know what downward dog is. We'll push our feet to the back of our mat, put our hands forward, and push our hips back again. And when I first get in a downward dog, I like to move my legs, loosen them up, get your calf muscles loose. All right, once you're feeling loose, you can bend your knees, get to the top of our mat. We'll put our feet next to our hands. There's a couple ways we can do this, right? We can just walk them up to here, or if you are up for the challenge, you can bend your knees, lean back, and hop to the top of your mat. From here, at the top of our mats, we're gonna get into our warrior poses. So we'll start up, and we'll dive down to our legs, into a forward fold. Our first time in here, I like to stretch it out real deep, so you can grab your elbows and pull down to get deeper, or I like to grab my big toes and pull myself down to help get a further back stretch. You can straighten your legs, you'll feel a stretch in your hamstrings here. So stay here for a couple breaths, and we'll stay in here for 3 more breaths. All right, from here we'll come into a halfway lift, so we should flatten our backs, pull our hands up to like our knees, and we'll fold one more time. Come back into a lift, and then we'll fold all the way down, put our hands here, and we'll shoot one leg back, and then we'll get into warrior one. So we'll turn that back leg, so our feet should be facing out. Keep this one pointed straight, pull our upper bodies up, and we'll put our hands straight above our heads, and our chest should stay straight, pointing over our front leg. For a deeper stretch, you can walk this front foot out and sit deeper into your hip here. We'll stay here for a little. This is also a good muscular endurance here for our leg muscle up here. So the longer you hold it, the more work it'll be there. All right, we can switch to warrior two. So we should straighten out and then lean even farther forward, and make sure you pull this left arm, keep it back to keep it in line with your other arm. This is a good stretch for our hamstrings and our hips in here. All right, now we can come back into our next pose. This is happy warrior, something like that. Peaceful warrior. This is peaceful warrior. All right, then I like to come up for this last one. We can put one hand down here. If you can't reach all the way, you can rest it on a knee and take your other leg, arm, and extend it straight up in the air. Again, this would be a nice deep stretch into your right hamstring and hip, and also work on some muscular endurance in your right hamstring. All right, once you're done with that, you can bring that left foot back up to the mat, and we'll come back and we'll start from the beginning. Of course, if we do one side, we have to make sure we stretch the other side. So we'll dive back down, halfway lift, fold, lift, and fold. And now this time we'll step the right leg back, because last time we stepped the left leg back. So step your right leg back, open your hip up, and point your foot the other way. And then we'll into a nice lunge for warrior one. Now we should be feeling that stretch in our left hamstring and hip. Okay, from here, we'll go into warrior two. So we should stretch even further, lean even further forward. Then we can lean back into peaceful warrior. Pull your left arm over your head. Then come back into our last one. You can put your left hand down to the ground and stretch your right arm up If you can't quite reach the ground, you can always rest on this leg here. But that's on my front leg should be straight. Okay, we can come back to the top of the mat. Usually I like to do this at least 2 times, sometimes 3 times. So I go through the whole thing one more time on one side and then switch to the other side. So from here I like to go into our first, some balancing challenges. So this pose is called eagle pose. We can take our right leg, wrap it around our left leg, and we take our right arm, put it under our left arm, and we try to hold there, pull our elbows away from our body, and try to keep our back straight. And then we see how long we can balance on that one leg. This is a tough one. All right, then we can switch. So you take that left leg, wrap it around your right leg, take your left arm and put it under your right arm, and then pull your elbows away from your body. This one's really tough. I might have to try this one a couple times. It's all right to mess up. Just step right back into it. Make sure you breathe while you're doing this. All right, another good balance I like to do is to lift one leg up and then take your arms and pull them back. This is called airplane pose. Try to keep your whole upper body level. This is a tough one to hold. This is also good muscular endurance for your leg that's on the ground. You'll feel it in your right leg. So try that for a little, and then we can switch to our left leg and do the same. If you have to put your foot down to rebalance yourself, that's totally fine. But this is a good way to challenge yourself. So that's basically how I do it. Again, with the warrior poses, you can go through that as many times as you want. I typically do 2 to 3, and then I go through the balancing things like once or twice each. Depends how I'm feeling that morning. So remember the 3 things we were trying to work on today was flexibility, muscular endurance, and balance. So if real quick, everyone could just give me a quick definition of what they think flexibility is, then pause the video, think about it, and then come back and I'll give you the answer. Okay, so if you said flexibility is how our body's range of motion, how far we can bend, stretch, reach, and you did an excellent job. That's it for today. This is definitely something that you can do on your own, incorporate into your everyday routine, or just anytime you feel like it. It's a good way to get stretched. So thanks for listening.